Have you ever seen a deal that just seemed way too good to be true? An offer so perfectly packaged that it felt like an absolute steal. Well, get ready, because we're about to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how the words in a sales pitch can literally trick your brain and, yeah, drain your wallet.
So to see how this works, let's jump into a story. Meet Crook. And like a lot of us, Crook's just scrolling one day when an ad stops him dead in his tracks. It's for that laptop, the one he's been dreaming about for months.
And what's the offer? Get the top laptop of the year for just 2 shells a day. Now think about that. 2 shells a day. It's nothing, right? It's the cost of a coffee, it's the loose change you might find in your couch. You see, they aren't just selling a laptop. They're selling an idea. The idea that this big purchase is so tiny, you'll barely even feel it.
And of course, Crook's reaction is exactly what the company was hoping for. He's absolutely thrilled. His brain just instantly shrinks the cost down to nothing. 2 shells? Pfft, that's a rounding error. His rational brain just kind of shuts off and pure impulse takes over. He's thinking, I gotta get to the store and grab this deal before it's gone.
But just as he's about to race out the door, his friend Luke steps in, and Luke, he sees right through all that shiny marketing. He puts a hand on Crook's shoulder and says, "Whoa, hold on a second, it's a trap."
All right, so this is where things get really interesting. Luke is about to pull back the curtain and show Crook what 2 shells a day really costs. He's about to expose the magic trick behind the whole offer.
And this, right here, is the heart of the whole illusion. On one side, you've got the framed cost, just 2 shells a day. It sounds so small, so manageable, so safe. But then you have the real cost. The cold, hard number is nearly 800 shells. They just took a big, scary number and chopped it up into these harmless-looking little pieces.
Now get this. If Crook walked into that same store with cash in hand, he could buy that exact same laptop, no strings attached, for 500 shells. That's his actual price. So where on earth is that extra 300 shells coming from?
And there it is. That's the trap, right in plain sight. By signing up for that easy little payment plan, the final price he pays skyrockets to almost 800 shells. This was never a discount. It's a huge markup cleverly disguised as a convenience.
So let's just spell this out. The consequences are huge. Not only would Crook be paying almost double what the laptop is actually worth, but he'd be locking himself into debt for years. And all the while, the company is just raking in massive profits from all that interest they baked into that simple 2 shells a day offer.
But Crook, he's got a counter-argument, and it's one you've probably thought of yourself. He says, Luke, but what about inflation? Prices are going up all the time. If I wait, this laptop will cost even more. By locking in this price now, I'm actually saving money. It's a powerful argument, right? But is it actually true?
Well, Luke breaks it all down. Companies are way ahead of us on this one. First, they've already calculated how much prices are expected to rise over the whole payment period. Second, they build that cost of inflation right into your price. And then, and this is the best part, they add their own big fat profit margin right on top of all of that.
And this is the real kicker. You're not beating inflation. You're not outsmarting the system. You are literally paying the company to cover the cost of future inflation for them, and then you're handing them a tidy profit for the privilege. It is a masterful illusion.
So this whole strategy, from that 2 shells a day offer all the way to the inflation myth, it's not just some random, clever marketing. Nope, it's a well-known psychological principle. And once you understand it, you can start protecting your wallet. It's called the framing effect. And the core idea is actually pretty simple. How information is presented to us is often way more powerful than what that information actually is. By framing a big, scary cost like 800 shells into these tiny, non-threatening daily payments, companies completely bypass our logical brain. It's like they're speaking directly to our emotions, not our calculator. It feels manageable, so we act on it.
Okay, so now that we know the trick, how do we defend ourselves against it? How do we fight back? Well, it all comes down to breaking their frame. The next time you're faced with one of these tempting, bite-sized offers, you just need to arm yourself with one single, powerful question.
Before you let yourself get excited, before you start thinking about how easy it would be, just stop. Stop and ask yourself this. What is the real, long-term cost? Do the math. Seriously. Multiply those small payments by all the days or months you'll be paying. Find the grand total and then decide if it's still a good deal.
because chances are, once you see the full picture, the whole frame will just shatter.